but she went into such graphic detail, and then she even at the end sang a song about anything you can do, we can do, bleeding, anything. And she started going on like this, but the thing is that the graphic detail which she went into was actually like, what? And I was me and all the other blokes are kind of, to be straight up honest with you, grossed out about it. And I get it, I don't begrudge her saying it, and I'm happy I heard it, whatever, but I was just thinking this is going to be the most stereotypical thing I've ever seen at a poetry night, as a feminist do a gross poem about her period and then sing. Like, fair play, more power to her, alright, but there are reasons why there's stereotypes. Yeah. And it's because people like that do exist, bro.
It's true.
And you do have those
I'm sure they probably do have those type of poetry clubs, but...
It's mad, bro. Yeah, and you do get, like, yeah, I get what you're saying.
The ones that... And he was spoken like a bird. The bird was flying.
Dude, you get those
up
people
so high.
Man. Have you not heard dudes like that? Cool. So I've been in.
I've never been to a club like that.
Dude. So there is a place. I'm trying to think of where it is. It's on man, what's that orange line, bro? The Highbury in Islington. I can't remember where it takes you out to. It's gonna annoy the heck out of me. I can email you and I'll tell you. Either way, there was a girl doing a poetry and. Doing a poem, jeez, how's that? The poet can't even say that right. And but her poem was all about saying the word outside, and she was trying to demonstrate the intersectionality of where sculpture meets words. And it was all about the word outside, but all she did for 3 minutes was say the word outside in different ways. So she started going like, and then that's what she did.
I was there.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I was there. I was at that event. I was at. Was it?
I can't remember what it's called. Man.
It was. I don't know if it was the same event, but like I was at an event for the.
It's also like poetical.
Poetical.co.uk.
Something like that.
Their launch party.
Yes, exactly that.
I was at the event.
And those guys come to Chocolate Poetry Club all the time.
The event, bro.
You've been there. You saw.
I was there. I was sat in the back, and I was just like, what is this?
What is this shit doing, bro? It's like really, and she's like, outside, side, and I was just like, is she having a stroke? Like, what's going on here?
I had no idea what I was
all
listening
her mates
to.
were like, brilliant, that was fantastic, and I was just like, wow, okay, I can make it as a poet. I can do it, bro. This chick's getting it.
No, I can definitely.
That shit. And don't get me wrong, sick events. Those guys run the event, comes to Poetry Club, they're dope. And don't get me wrong, I would like to have seen more in that venue. It was a dope venue and I saw some dope poets, but that one particular poet I've never forgotten about, and I just thought, wow, that was crazy.
I've never forgotten about that poet at all, because I just remember it. Outside. I was like, what? This is poetry?
Is she being serious? Maybe she doesn't like poetry and she just comes to take the piss out of poets.
You know?
Like what is she? Or maybe it's genius and we're the fools. Who knows? But I doubt it's genius. I heard some genius poetry in my life. So have you, bro. That was not like listening to like freaking Jamal Khan or somebody like that. He was listening to some craziness, dude. And either way, look, you know, she might listen to my poetry and think I'm an idiot, so fair play to her. But if the runners of the events are listening, please some more events in that venue. That was sick, and I think they have to definitely go dig a night.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, man, and get a hold of me, lady, who did the outside poem, because I'd really like an explanation of what you want about. Because maybe you had a dope concept.
That's what I mean. Maybe there was some sort of deeper meaning that like they didn't let us know about, but like
to the lay person, it just seems crazy. Whatever.
It just seemed like she was making a load of sounds, and I remember telling all my friends about. I was like, there was just this one poet just making that noises, saying outside. I was just like, I didn't know what it was about.
And you don't know whether it's like super artsy and we're super cool.
You know?
Maybe I'm the uncultured one.
You know?
But probably not, bro. It doesn't strike me like it's anything that like Maya Angelou would have done.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean? I can't see Georgia Poet getting up on stage and just going like, something like that. And so like I was just like, wait. And so either way, you have seen some pretty good poetry in that case.
We have.
And I think we've probably forgotten a lot of the stuff that we've seen. Think of how many, just of the nights we've been to together, I reckon there's probably over 100 people we've seen perform poetry just on those particular occasions. Hits and miss, mostly good.
Yeah.
But you do get some arbitrary kind of stuff. And I think what happens a lot of the time, and I'm a victim of this as well, is I think a lot of the time people essentially have written a blog. They've got a blog post which once you come get off their chest, no wordplay, no rhyme, no alliteration, no nothing. Not that that's a necessity. You don't need any of that for good poetry. But if you're just going to have a blog post about how much you hate whatever, then it's like you need to at least make it interesting for us for the 4 minutes that you're going to be on stage. And so, I think a lot of the time you've got people who are, and I think we all get a little bit narcissistic. Maybe that's just me projecting my narcissism on other people, but I definitely do. And I definitely think like people have got to hear what I've got to say about this particular subject. And that's what the poem becomes more about than the actual poem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of being like, how can I make this beautiful? How can I get this to speak to somebody's heart?
How can I share this with other people? Yeah.
I'm just like, I've got to get this message out there. And then it like kind of makes the whole thing kind of poisons it, taints it a little bit because you've gone out with the wrong intentions. And you hear my stuff, Brian. A lot of the time I go out with that kind of stuff, and I'm trying to be a little bit more about the art rather than about what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Still trying to say stuff, but just in a more poetry kind of way, I suppose.
Yeah.
Poetic.
Poetic. But it's all part of the journey, I guess. It's all part of the journey of writing and finding
figuring out your vibe.
Yeah, and how you're going to get your voice out there.
How do you reckon you're going to be going about getting some of your poems out and that?
I'm going to try with... I'm in the process of writing a book.
Cool. Yeah, sick.
But first it was only going to be a poetry inception book, which I still don't know if it's a real term. I still don't know if I coined it myself. I've just never seen it before.
Okay.
It's kind of like a poem within a poem. So
oh shit, alright.
you kind of read the poem one and then read the other poem which is within the poem, which is kind of just basically getting to the essence of what the poem is basically about.
Okay, so it distills it a little bit more kind of thing. Okay, dude, I think that sounds like a brilliant concept.
So I'm gonna, because they're harder to write. They don't, like, a lot of the time it doesn't just, I don't plan to write it as a poetry inception. It's just that I find the poem afterwards while I look through it.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Like it winds up being like that.
Yeah, it winds up just being, I just see another poem. I was like, oh yeah, that'll work. It'll flow, yeah.
I get what you're saying. Do that, that sounds brilliant.
So I'm either going to do a whole book of that, or I'll have a book with poetry inception and a few other poems to do with perception and kind of stuff like that.
All that kind of stuff. I think it's nice to mix it up a little bit and give people some variety as well. Instead of, you were saying earlier about sometimes you get a book of poetry, sometimes it's nice just to flip through to a random page. And that's sometimes how I will treat an entire book of poetry, is I'll just flip through as and when, and I'll find things that work. Sometimes you get books that are structured in a kind of a way where they'll have a little bit more poetry and prose and short stories and whatever, and then all of a sudden you've got a bit more. I'm not saying one's better than the other, but you can either have the option where you can just flip through and find random poems, or you can have something that's going to be a little bit more substantial and involved, where you're going to ask the person, I suppose, to become a little bit more invested in it, to have to sit and read through page after page instead of a sick 5-line poem. So it's pros and cons, I suppose.
So with your music, is it only available for like digital download and physical copy, or are people available on like Spotify and stuff like that?
Yeah, man. Cheers, dude. So that album that you got in your hand, that one's only available physically, to be quite honest with you.
Okay.
I got my acoustic EP, that's 5 tracks, that's on iTunes, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. Basically, when I was putting that one up, I decided to take this old one off just because I really didn't like it anymore. I didn't like my delivery, I was too quick, all that kind of stuff. And they'd set up on YouTube, I loaded all of them up onto YouTube. It's on my SoundCloud and all that jazz, so it's not completely hidden from the world. But I just thought in terms of like first impressions and that, if people were Googling me today, I'd much rather them find my acoustic EP than have them find that rubbish I did. Not saying it's rubbish, but in comparison to what I do now. You know what I mean? You always look back on your old stuff and be like, woo, I've come a long way.
It's because I was talking to Rags TV about his album, and he was saying he's not going to put it up for digitally, it's not going to be on Spotify or anything like that. If people want the album, they have to buy it from his website or from physical copy. I think it's £10 a physical copy and £5 to download digitally. So
it's a good idea that though, because you can also do stuff like that through Bandcamp and stuff like that. And I, you know what, I fully get why he's doing that, because on all the streams, that album has been on Spotify since 2013. It's had quite a few streams, and my acoustic album that I recorded, one of the songs, Reflections, played on BBC Introducing in Oxford and that kind of stuff. So I had some views in it, I had some stuff. All in all, I've made like £47 in 3 years, even with getting streams and stuff like that, because you get like 0.002 cents per stream or whatever it is. So I get why he's doing that, but I think, and I hope this, and I don't think Rags is in any kind of danger of this happening to him because he's got a fair amount of notoriety already and stuff like that. I just think it's a lot easier to get noticed if you have that presence on Spotify. 'Cause
Maybe,
at the end of the day, the more kind of hooks you have in the water, the more bait you got going is good. But at the same time, when he had his thing the other night, he sold, I think, like 40 copies or something like that of his album.
Yeah, it's
$10,
£400.
that's already £400. That's already more money he made in 1 hour than I've in 3 years.
Exactly.
Just with doing that compared to the streaming. So, you know what I mean?
That's
You never
exactly
know.
how he explained it to me, and I was just like, yeah, I mean, it makes
It's
sense.
like that works.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
400 quid in his pocket right now.
Exactly. It's
compared
like
to,
the way how he broke it down to me is like, just simply like, it's crazy that Drake has 1 billion streams, but he doesn't have $1 billion.
straight up, dude. Yeah.
So,
back in the golden era of like Chronic 2001 and Eminem's show and all that kind of stuff. That was big money.
Yeah, exactly.
That was Busta Rhymes. All that. That was big money
yeah.
because then it was like the platinum era.
Yeah.
Nowadays, what have guys got to do? World tour every year because they're making no money with streaming.
Yeah.
So you got singers doing like silly schedules.
No one's really buying stuff because what's the point when I can stream it?
Yeah, I can stream it, watch a music video on YouTube.
Yeah.
Do it if nobody's doing this. That's why you have dudes doing crazy amounts of live shows, which don't get me wrong, I think that's great. Everybody wins. Maybe not the artist's family at Christmas time, but that's you know, they're making a living off doing their art, and that's why I think a lot of people getting into other stuff. MGK is getting into his acting. I saw him in his Dirt movie the other day, and that.
I think it's more so that like kind of people are seeing that. There's one thing that's always been said to me as an actor is that you can't just be an actor. You have to have other things, otherwise something might go quiet for a while, and then what you're gonna do?
Good shot, dude. Yeah.
So like I think it's more the thing that performers or musicians are kind of seeing that you can't just be a musician sometimes. You have to be the producer as well. You have to be writing the songs as well. You have to...
Well, that was Ice Cube, wasn't it? He was doing it all, man. He was doing it all, doing screenplays and everything like that. He was maybe even the archetype for that. You know what I'm saying? And so I get you, dude, because if you're not going to be doing that, then you're going to have to be an actor and a good barman or something like that.
Yeah.
And or as you say, at least try have something that's within the arts industry, so singer, dancer. Well, that's where you probably get the singer, dancer, actor, triple threat kind of thing. Theatre, especially. I think those are probably, I reckon, as a dude who has no professional experience opinion whatsoever on this, I think theatre actors are probably the best, most threats, because they've got to sing, act, dance mostly.
Well, not even that. It's just I think it's more so the fact that at theatres it's live.
Okay.
If you make a mistake, everyone's going to see the mistake, you know, so you have to be able to think on your feet and be able to cover that mistake without the audience knowing that you made a mistake.
I get what you're saying.
If it's like screen, I make a mistake, they cut. I mean, it costs more money to do retakes, so you don't want to be doing that, but you know in the back of your mind, if I do this wrong or I fumbled on a line, we can do this again.
I get what you're saying. Well, you know what it's like when you get on stage at a poetry night, bro. You make that one little cock up and that could be your whole poem dead. Just because you keep on thinking, damn it, I bug it up, what to do. So on stage acting, that's a whole other level completely, especially when you could have like, say, maybe 1,000 people each paid 40 quid to come and see you. You can't stand on stage and be like, give me 5 minutes. You have to be shit hot. And you have to make them say, all right, we'll come again. And do it.
One thing I've found from working on stage is that the people who you're on stage with are the people you need to be like. You need to be like this. You need to be a family with your people you're working with. Only because if you at any stage drop the ball, they have to be ready at any stage to pick up the ball from where you dropped it, so they can keep the show moving. Otherwise, the show will drop there.
Like teamwork. All right. When was the last time you had like where you were able to do any kind of like theatre stuff?
It's been probably, when did I leave Identity? About 3 years ago, probably. But I am writing a play at this moment in time.
Okay. Can you give away what the play's about at all?
It's actually changed from when I last spoke to you, actually. But I'm not sure if I can mention it on the podcast.
If you have to think about it, then rather not, I'd say, bro. Well, we have a few things to pick up after the podcast, bro. Luckily.
But also, I was going to mention about your book. Was it self-published or?
Self-published, man. Yeah, dude. So basically, I literally just went to some company, got them. I got mates of mine who designed the album cover on my other album to help me design this. Shout out to Claudio. And basically, getting that made, I don't even think he charged me to do the cover, so it was for free.